balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
And a very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord. In our top story at 7, the country has been placed on alert. Brace for industrial action. The warning after today's talks between the NUPW, Commerce Minister Donville Innes, and representatives from the BIDC ended in a stalemate. Acting General Secretary of the NUPW, Roslyn Smith, says the union's decision stems from the BIDC's failure to withdraw the letters issued to the employees.
We've asked that the letters be retracted, and they say no. We've asked if they're prepared to pay the workers until they reach the retirement age of 67, and they say no. So we are saying from the union's standpoint that our next action would be we will go into industrial action. I'm not going to give you anything on the strategy, but I know the public of Barbados will see and feel the way of the NUPW.
But Commerce Minister Donville Innes is satisfied that the BIDC situation has been handled in a humane manner. Regarding the looming industrial action, he believes the NUPW should hold the interest of the country at heart. The minister also disclosed that the workers will start receiving the monies owed to them before year end, including gratuity and pensions.
All of these individuals who the board have determined shall be retired by September 30th have received almost 4 months' pay in lieu of notice, all vacation pay that has been accrued to them, and in some cases that would have reached a size $52,000. And those checks were issued 2 weeks ago, and as far as I've been advised, they've all cleared the bank, and those 10 members of staff have signed as accepting, etc.
He also noted that some of the 10 affected employees are satisfied with the way in which the situation has been handled.
Several of the members of staff who have been retired have indicated to BIDC that they have no desire to pursue this matter, that they are quite contented with the way in which they've been treated by the staff in terms of the counseling support, as well as the financial arrangements that they're entitled to by law, and any other arrangements that the BIDC has put in place.
The BIDC's legal officer also explained that the action is legal.
The board decision was basically taken in light of Section 8(1) of the Statutory Boards Pension Act. Under that section, the board may require an officer at any time after they attain the age of 60 to retire from the corporation. The union, however, have been dwelling on a 2004 amendment to the Statutory Board Pensions Act.
The issues with the BIDC surfaced in the public last month after 13 workers, all over 60 years of age, were retired, along with 2 others from the IT department who were severed. Well, while the NUPW is threatening a national strike, some employees at the Kensington Oval Management Incorporation took action today and stopped working. They claim they have not received their retroactive pay since 2008. Several of them gathered outside the Oval. Maintenance supervisor at Comey, Winston Reed, says every month they're being told a different story about their payment. He says the Barbados Workers Union will be dealing with the situation if nothing is done. He also says they will be protesting every day until they get their money.
Even at the last year, they promised us, and from the 26th of May this year, they said they were going to get it in May. Then it was in June, now this is July, and still no action. Well, it's too long now.
And efforts to get a comment from management of Comey were unsuccessful. An ongoing shift has been noticed in the male-to-female ratio of interns at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Director of Medical Services Dr. Anthony Harris says over the years, fewer and fewer males have been coming into the medical field. This was one of the highlights during the introduction of the new medical graduates to the one-year internship program, which consists of 28 females and just 1 male. But Dr. Harris says he cannot pinpoint the main reason for the change.
as Dr. Cave said, we've been seeing this trend for some time now, where the females have basically outstripped the males. It used to be 70-30, then it went to 80-20, 90-10%, and now in this group we have a single male. It is hard to attribute any major reasoning for it. I guess men are perhaps not attracted to the medical profession as such anymore, but it is always good to see a male figure in there.
An intern of the year 2013 to 2014, Dr. Alana Francis, spoke to the new group of interns and told them that the coming year could be a life-changing experience for them.
I think this is where your journey on becoming a real doctor begins, because of course, as a medical student, it's mainly but work. However, internship teaches you how to be a real doctor. You acquire skills that you haven't had before. You see the most common pathologies in the hospital and in the population that you have kind of managed as a student, but not really, because as an intern, you're solely responsible for the micromanagement only of the patient. Okay? As Dr. Cave said, it is a very difficult year of your life. However, it's also one of the most fulfilling, well, I should say, it can be one of the most fulfilling years of your life.
Caribbean leaders have a packed agenda for the 36th regular meeting of CARICOM heads of government, which gets underway here in Barbados tomorrow afternoon. The conference begins with a formal ceremony at 4:30 at the Hilton. Discussions will focus on energy in the context of a proposal for a new institution to lead the region's energy agenda, the CARICOM single market and economy, CARICOM's relations with the Dominican Republic, and border issues between Guyana and Venezuela, among others. Barbados is also playing host to the Secretaries General of the United Nations and the Commonwealth, as well as the President of Panama. Incoming Chairman and Prime Minister of Barbados, Frondell Stewart, is among the heads of government who will address the opening ceremony, and CBC will have live coverage beginning at 4 p.m. And we'll have more news in just a moment.
More great cities just got closer. The Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard is now even better. Fly to New York, Miami, Orlando, and Fort Lauderdale with just 20,000 Scotia points. With your new Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard, you'll receive a welcome bonus of 10,000 Scotia points, so you can enjoy the cities you love most sooner than ever. Apply today. Call 426-7000 or visit your nearest branch. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
The time is near for the world's greatest soca event, the Flow Soca on the Hill at the Folly Hill National Park, Barbados. Come see the Queen of Bacchanal, Destra, Lorick, Ricardo Drew, RPB, Biggie Irie, Skinny Fabulous, Soca Sensations, Lead Pipe and Status, Benjai, King Bubba FM, and still the best of Crop Over 2015 still to come. Get your early bird tickets now from official box offices before the price goes up. Sunday, July 19th, the Flow Soca on the Hill.
Are you ready for summer? Are you ready for the Nichols Bakery Q-Kids? Well, don't be left out. Join us on July 4th at Kensington Oval from 12 noon. Have lots of fun in the Burger King dancing zone, the Fruity Kids karaoke, the MCTV game zone, and so much more. Adults $5, all children free. The Nichols Bakery Q-Kids coming this summer. Kensington Oval from 12 noon. See you there. Sponsored by Nichols Bakery, Fruity, Tiger Malt, Pine Hill Dairy, Burger King, Babisco, and the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union.
An elderly woman is assessing her losses after fire destroyed her home and all of its contents in Speightstown, St. Peter. 84-year-old Eileen Bernice Reese was at home at the time but thankfully escaped unharmed. as a fire gutted the small one-bedroom wooden structure at Bovell Road last evening around 7:15. 2 tenders from the St. James Fire Station responded with 7 officers under the command of the Acting Deputy Chief Fire Officer Lieutenant Phillips. Other nearby homes were spared as the team was able to restrict the blaze to the lone residents. Police and fire officials are now investigating the cause of that fire. Well, police have interviewed the mother of 6-year-old Johan King, who passed away on Monday at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Lawmen are treating the death of the little boy as unnatural. Police had earlier issued a bulletin seeking to locate his mother, 25-year-old Lasanta Katrina Gill of Belfield Road, Jackson in St. Michael. A postmortem will be conducted to determine his cause of death. Well, Registrar of the Supreme Court Barbara Cook-Alene is warning young girls not to cover up crimes for any man. That was her message to the graduates of the St. Bartholomew Primary School.
You have to make some good choices out there, young ladies. Yes, think of you, put you first. Does it make sense going to jail for him? Does that sound like it makes sense? It does not. So make some good choices and stay on path so you may actually reach your goal.
The Supreme Court Registrar was speaking at the school's graduation held at the Almond Bay Center last evening under the theme Reach for the Stars. She also told the students that many youngsters are using illegal drugs and advised them to just say no.
I want you all to know that the law says that from age 11, you can be charged for any crime in Barbados from age 11. So now your actions may have legal consequences. So make some very good choices from now on. So always say no to drugs. What we found as well, that some children might come to the court for stealing or behaving badly on the streets. When we do the tests on drugs, they're positive. So drugs impacts on you not only to come to court for possession of it, but in other areas as well. So always say no to drugs.
There is a suggestion that high-rise housing solutions should be used as an option to attract young aspiring homeowners. It's coming from Chief Town Planner Mark Cummins. He reveals that the last census showed an increase in the number of one-story homes and believes that the high-rise solutions will provide more affordable opportunities for ownership.
Between the 2000 census and 2010, Barbados saw an additional 13,000 housing units. Now, that doesn't match the population, but if you look at Barbados's household size of 2.6, I think it's 2.6, it matches any developed country, any developed country in the world. So here in Barbados, we have an average household size of 2.6 persons.
Mr. Cummins was speaking at a news briefing on Barbados's preparations for Habitat 3, the 3rd United Nations Global Summit at the National Housing Corporation. The Chief Town Planner also says there are numerous vacant lots across the country which after some time become health concerns.
Right now in Barbados, we have a significant number of vacant lots where persons, you buy a lot, then it takes you 7 to 10 years to pay for it. So during that period of time that you're paying for it, it becomes overgrown. Then we have problems on the public health side. Now again, I'm not saying that we will not have situations where persons will be able to buy a lot, because that choice should be there. But we must have a balance whereby we look at more turnkey solutions.
It was also revealed at that meeting that several of the urban issues in Barbados will be heard at the Global Summit to be held in October next year in Quito, Ecuador. In preparation for the event, a national committee has been established, while stakeholder consultations and 5 community meetings have also been scheduled. Economist and co-chair of the committee, Jeremy Stephen, outlined some of the urban issues in Barbados which should be addressed.
For Barbados to really flourish in the next 20 years, we do have to at least become a city-state in some form or fashion. But we do have a number of primary issues that currently inhibit us from doing so, namely bad transportation links. And when I say bad, I mean it not in a relative sense, but just bad. Number 2, we have a variety of housing, but with limited support or infrastructural support.
And still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across our region.
When you need freedom to express yourself, there's nothing like the home you own. Let Scotiabank open the door for you with advice and payment options that match your budget. Visit us today. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
It will be beer words at the 2015 Lime Crop Overreading Sunday, July 5th at Harrison's Cave, featuring beer drama, lyrics, poetry, short stories, truth, and more from beer Bayesian writers. Come and have beer sport with payday movie star and comedian Snapper. Chant beer lyrics with Asman. Catch beer feelings with Nart Springer and the ladies of Sexy Sensation. With beer vibes from Adrian Green, DJ Simmons, and Simon Pipe together as Iron Pipe. Hosted by the $2 Philosopher. Tickets $30 adults, $10 children 4 to 12 from ticketpal.com and all Crop Over box offices. Beer words at the Lime Crop Over Reading. Also sponsored by Corporators General Insurance. Sunday, July 5th at Harrison's Cave. Word fair and exhibition open at 6 p.m. Visit www.barbadoscropoverfestival.com for more details.
Whoever said local football was just a kid's game.
Hello again and welcome to Extra Time.
Join Andy Akili Thornhill for comprehensive coverage of local and international football on Extra Time. Brought to you by the Barbados Football Association.
Remember, it's quite all right to whet your football appetite.
Extra Time, Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. on CBC TV 8.
Across the Caribbean is brought to you with the compliments of CIBC First Caribbean. The project director of the Improved Impact to Justice project is reporting progress in the agency's efforts assisting in the establishment of the CSME, that's the Caribbean Single Market and Economy. Professor Velma Newton spoke about the work of Impact Justice during the 30th Annual General Meeting of CORAL, the Caribbean Association of Law Libraries, hosted at the Accra Beach Resort. Impact Justice is being funded by the Canadian government under an agreement with the University of the West Indies.
Our main focus in terms of legislation is on the drafting of model legislation because the project is regional. And we have a very low threshold for what is regional. It means that 3 governments have approved the drafting of a particular piece of legislation. And then we move ahead on the expectation and hope that other governments will accept, come on board in terms of that legislation.
In Guyana now, minibus operators have taken to the streets protesting what they say is the high-handedness of the police force. Rahana Ahmad has that story.
There are hundreds of minor traffic offences, but as the law indicates, not all of these require a court case. Most of the breaches can be sanctioned by the issuance of traffic tickets, fines, or in some cases, the suspension of one's driver's license. But according to a few minibus operators, they are being dragged before the courts unnecessarily.
One summons I have here for 1 day. But I tell myself right now it's best I start snatching chain because the chain snatching them and getting no charge. And as an innocent driver, I get in toward 1 summons in 1 day going from the magistrate with 1 summons with 15,000 for 1. Say if you multiply toward 1 by 15, it's prison I got make pass, man. They even get quarter the money right now.
The protesters say that many times they would show up to court only to have their matter transferred to another day because the officer handling the case is absent.
At one time, he sent to the court and to tell the prosecutor with the next school, he sent a message that his father-in-law died and the matter put after next date. As soon as I come out to the court, I see young Crowell Street.
Additionally, the drivers and conductors are maintaining that breaches of the law only occur because of the congested minibus parks. Meanwhile, in the case of security cameras installed at traffic lights, the protesters say these are being misused.
A lady was being robbed and a gunshot was fired before she released her bag, and me see nothing in the papers, camera pursuing that, to pick up the person or nothing, but the camera just picking up the bus driver.
The minibus operators are determined to continue their protest action until the new administration review the fines attached to some of these minor traffic offenses.
A diplomatic turnaround between the U.S. and Cuba. It comes after more than half a century of tension and outright hostilities, during which a number of U.S. presidents have come and gone. The question now is, how did President Barack Obama find an opening?
A number of things have changed, and I think this will be important to President Obama's legacy, not just in the bilateral relationship, but in a broader relationship with Latin America in particular, and also moving out of the past, out of Cold War mentalities that affected obviously the U.S. and Cuba, but also the U.S. place in the world. What changed are two things. I think for three things. One, a recognition by the President of the United States that the 54-plus years of policy had not achieved the desired end goal, the desired goal where the Cuban people get to decide their own future. You also had a change in politics around this issue within a real shift, a generational shift within the Cuban-American community in the United States, also recognizing that more of the same wasn't the path forward in large measure.